ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। कठोपनिषद अध्याय 1 वल्ली 3 मंत्र 1। ऋतं पिबन्तौ सुकृतस्य लोके गुहां प्रविष्टौ परमे परार्धे छायातपौ ब्रह्मविदो वदन्ति पञ्चाग्नयो ये च त्रिनाचिकेताः। We have seen the mantra. Now let's get into the bhashya. There is a Sambandha Bhashya for this Valli. First there is Sambandha for the whole Valli, then Sambandha for the particular mantra. Ritam pibantau ityasyaha valyaha Sambandha of this Valli. Asyaha valyaha sambandha. The connection of this Valli with the previous Valli. That is how generally Sambandha is presented. One Valli, how it is connected with the previous Valli. When we are speaking something, when we are discussing something, a particular statement should be connected with the previous statement. There has to be some connection. All of a sudden, one does not start speaking anything which is not related to what he is already discussing. So, every subsequent statement is connected to the previous statement in one or another way. Likewise, in the Upanishad, every section is related to the previous section in some way or the other. So now Bhashyakara is giving the sambandha of this Valli with the previous Valli. How this Valli is connected to the previous Valli. Ritam pibantau iti asyaha valyaha. And this Valli begins with Ritam pibantau ityadi. That is how the Valli begins. Generally, a section of Veda is referred to with the first one or two words in the Veda, in the particular section. Like, for example, Ishopanishad or Ishavasyopanishad. How does that section get that name? Because it begins with Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. Likewise, Kenopanishad. Why Kenopanishad gets that name? Because it begins with Kena. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. Likewise, a particular Valli is mentioned with the beginning of the Valli. Ritam pibantau iti asyaha valyaha sambandhaha. The Valli begins with Ritam pibantau, etc. Tasya sambandhaha vakshyate, uchyate. Sambandha is being said. Vidya vidye, nana viruddha phale, iti upanyaste, natu safalete, yatha vannirnite. Vidya vidye, vidya and avidya. So, when we discuss sambandha, we have to mention what has been covered in the previous Valli. Because sambandha is always between the previous and this. Therefore, Bhashyakara is mentioning what we have studied in the previous Valli. Vidya vidye, vidya and vidya. Nana viruddha phale. They are nana phale. They have different results. Bhinna phale ityartha. The result of vidya and result of avidya are different. It was mentioned. Nana reminds us the statement Ubhe nanarthe purushagum sinitaha. And viruddha phale, where is it mentioned? Duramete viparite vishuchi. Duramete viparite vishuchi. So, when Bhashyakara writes, he keeps in mind every statement in the previous Valli. Nana viruddha phale. Their phalas are different and mutually opposite. One leads to samsara, another leads to moksha. Iti upanyaste, it was mentioned there in the previous Valli. Natu safalete yathavan nirnite. But something was lacking in the previous Valli. What was lacking? They were not explicitly discussed. Yathavat na nirnite. They were not properly ascertained. Their clear ascertainment was not done. yathavat na nirnite. Their nature was not explicitly discussed. Saphale, along with their phala. What exactly is their phala? Even that was not explicitly discussed. Tannirnayartha ratharupaka kalpana तथा च प्रतिपत्ति सौकर्यम तन्निर्णयार्था to ascertain that, to ascertain their nature, to ascertain the nature of vidya and avidya along with the phala. Ratharupaka kalpana, in this valli, in valli 3, a ratharupaka kalpana is going to be presented. An imagery of chariot. And the imagery is being presented to explain vidya and avidya in detail. Tathacha pratipatti saukaryam. What is the purpose of the imagery? The imagery facilitates the understanding. Pratipatti saukaryam. Tathacha. Through the imagery, there is pratipatti saukaryam. One can easily understand the nature of vidya and avidya. It is the sambandha of this valli. The vidya and avidya, which were briefly mentioned in the previous valli, they will be elaborated on this in this valli with the imagery of chariot. Now the sambandha of this particular mantra. Evancha praptra prapya gantra gantavya vivekartham dvau atmanau upanyasyete. Evancha, thus there is a journey. Ratharupaka kalpana means the body is compared to chariot. That is not the only comparison. There are so many other comparisons related to Ratha, related to a chariot, like Atma, Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi ityadi. The individual is charioteer, one who travels in a chariot, not charioteer, the traveler. The individual is compared to traveler. And Indriyas are compared to horses, and so on. The chariot imagery is elaborated. And the spiritual journey, the pursuit of moksha, is compared to a journey. When the pursuit of moksha is compared to a journey, who is the traveler and what is the destination? The seeker is the traveler, and the one who is sought is the destination in the imagery. That is being told here. in present Valli, in present mantra, the Shruti is introducing the traveler and the destination. The traveler happens to be the seeker, who is the Jivatma, and the destination happens to be the goal of the seeker, which is nothing but Paramatma. Praptra prapya vivekartham, for clearly understanding who is Praptra and who is Prapya. Praptra is the seeker, and Prapya is the sought, the goal. And the Praptra Prapya are compared to Gantra Gantavya. Gantra means the traveler. Praptra is compared to Gantra, the traveler. And Gantavya, the destination, the goal. Prapya is compared to Gantavya, the destination. Vivekartham, for clear distinction between the two, for clearly understanding who is Praptra and who is Prapya, who is Gantra and who is Gantavya. Dvau atmanau upanyasyete, two Atmas, namely Jivatma and Paramatma. Upanyasyete, they are being introduced. Here we have to remember that though two Atmas are introduced in this mantra, the two Atma, this is not the purport of the Shruti. One cannot hold on to this statement as the purport of the Shruti. Ritam pibantau. Some people quote only this mantra. They will hold on to this mantra. Ritam pibantau. Therefore, there are two Atmas. Therefore, Advaita is not correct. Many people will say that. But a particular mantra in an Upanishad should be understood under the light of various other mantras also. Therefore, when the Shruti says there are two Atmas, it is conveying the number of the Atma as two is not the purport of the Shruti. Then why does the Shruti say two Atma? It is to explain the pursuit of spiritual journey. Later on, the Shruti will negate the two. The two is going to be negated. Nehana nasti kinchana. Two is going to be negated. All numbers are going to be negated in Brahman. There is no number in Brahman. Brahman transcends all number. Sankhya atita. Brahman is not countable. Atma is not a countable entity. Atma transcends our countability. What do I mean when the Atma transcends all countability? it has to be understood properly. How many Atmas are there? Yeah. If you say one Atma, also there is a problem. Yeah. If I say one Atma, it will be like one sun, one moon, one earth. Like that, one Atma. It is not so. One sun, one moon, one Brahman. That means there is a Brahman apart from these things. Just like sun is a limited object with the exclusion of other objects, Brahman will also be a limited object with the exclusion of all other objects. So there is one Brahman. It will become theology. There is one God somewhere in the heaven. Because we use the number one in the sense of an object which can be excluded from the other object and which can be counted along with the other objects. One sun plus one moon, there are two. Sun plus moon, two. Like that, Atma is one. One sun plus one moon plus one Atma. Atma will become one object like many other one objects. That is the problem. If we even say Atma is one, the number one is within the domain of countability. It is a Sankhya. That is what the problem even Naiyayika has. For him, Atma has Sankhya. Atma is a countable entity for a Naiyayika. But in Vedanta, Atma is not countable also. When we say Ekam, it is not enough. Ekam makes Atma countable. The Vachyartha of the word Ekam, the direct meaning of the word Ekam is a countable entity. We should not take the Vachyartha of the word Ekam also. That is why immediately after saying Ekam, the Shruti says, Ekameva Advitiyam. Ekam eva Advitiyam. One without a second. And when the Shruti says without a second, Atma transcends all countability. Sankhya Atita. It does not fall in the domain of countability. There is not a second that you can count Atma against. You cannot count the Atma. It transcends countability. Sankhya Atita. That is why in the beginning of Mandukyopanishad Bhashya, Shankaracharya says, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Maya Krita Sankhya Turiyam Bhavati. The Sankhya Number is in the domain of Maya. This is something to be thought about. You can just reflect on what I am saying. Brahman transcends Sankhya also. Sankhya Atita. That is why Brahman is not the Vachyartha of Ekam also. The Vachyartha of Ekam is a countable entity which can be counted alongside the other objects. I can ask how many objects are here. One big pot, one small pot, everything is one. But every object is with the exclusion of the other object. When I say pot, pot excludes everything else. But the Atma does not exclude anything. Atma is the substance. Therefore, it cannot be counted against anything. It cannot be counted along with anything. That is Sankhya Atita. So, the two, when the Shruti says two, dvau atmano, dvivachana is used, ritam pibantau, dvivachana. For Dvaitis, this is a very good point for Dvaitis. They will hold on to this. Ritam pibantau. So Dvaita is correct. But then what about Nehana nasti kinchana? What about Ekameva Dvitiyam? Therefore, this is Adhyaropa. Adhyaropapavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. The nishprapancha Advaita is conveyed through Adhyaropa and Apavada. This two is Adhyaropa. For the time being, we are thinking there is two. The Shruti is saying there are two. To account for our experience, the Shruti has descended to the level of the student. And later on the Apavada, Nehana nasti kinchana, is Apavada. See, Adhyaropa, Apavada. Now you can see how Adhyaropa and Apavada work. Later on there is Apavada. Apavada means negation, not exception, not that Apavada. Not Utsarga Apavada. That is different. Adhyaropa Apavada. That is how the Shruti develops. So, dau atmano upanyasyete. Two atmas are being presented, being introduced. Ritam satyam avasyam bhavitvat karma phalam pibantau ekastatra karma phalam pibati bhungte na itaraha tathapi पात्र संबंधात पिबन्तौ इति उच्यते क्षत्रिन्यायेन सुकृतस्य स्वयं कृतस्य कर्मणः ऋतम् इति पूर्वेण संबंधः लोके अस्मिन् शरीरे ऋतम means satyam, truth. In this context, ritam means karma phalam. Karma phala. The result of karma is called ritam. How can karma phala be called ritam? Bhashyakara says, avashyam bhavitvat. Since karma phala is avashyam bhavi, it definitely happens. It is definite, unavoidable. Na bhuktam kshiyate karma kalpakoti shatairapi. Even after kalpakoti shata, several kalpas, several cycles of creation, koti shata kalpa, crores of 100 crore of kalpas, creations. The karma phala has to be enjoyed. It will not perish without enjoying, without producing its result. Therefore, it is avashyam bhavi. One cannot avoid karma phala. We can escape the CCTV camera. CCTV camera has its blind spots. One can escape it. But the eyes of Ishvara, one cannot escape. The eyes of karma, one cannot escape. That is why there is a story. The Guru gave one banana to each of the students. And then he said, you should eat it in such a place where nobody sees. Then everyone went to hiding a secluded place and they ate it. But one boy didn't eat. He just brought it back and said, I cannot eat. Then the Guru asked him, why you can't eat? Then he said, I cannot find a place where nobody sees. Then the Guru asked him, why you are not able to find such a place? Then the Shishya said, because Bhagavan sees everywhere. Ishvara sees everywhere. So, the karma that we do, it does not go waste, whether punya or papa. That is why do not wait for any recognition. Sometimes people feel, I am doing so many good works, I am doing so much of seva, it is not recognized. A human being may not recognize. A human being has his own blind spots. All of us have our own blind spots. We have two eyes, and the two eyes cannot cover 360 degrees. They cover only a particular angle. Our vision is restricted to a particular angle, that's all. And even in that, there may be some blind spots. We don't know how many blind spots are. Therefore, a human being may not recognize all that you do. Some people are recognized, and some people works are recognized, whereas many people's works go unrecognized. But then there is Ishvara. The Ishvara recognizes everything that you do. He is Sarvajna. Therefore, the phala of the karma will definitely come. No karma will go in vain. It is a matter of time before it gets fructified. Certain karmas will get fructified now and here, in this janma itself. Maybe after a few days, it may get fructified. Some good karmas or bad karmas of a person, they get fructified quickly. Whereas certain other karmas don't get fructified easily, so quickly. They may take many janmas to get fructified. But they are registered. They remain there in the account of sanchita karma. Therefore, avashyam bhavitvat. Karma phala is avashyam bhavi. Therefore, it is called ratam. Ratam literally means satyam, true. And in this context, we have to take lakshyartha, which is karma phala. And how karma phala can be called satyam? Because it is associated with satya, being avashyam bhavi. Pibantau, drinking. The Jivatma drinks karma phala. Drinks means enjoys. Drinking means enjoyment. And here, enjoying need not mean pleasure always. Enjoyment means pain also. So, enjoys karma phala. We may use this word in Vedanta. But karma phala involves both pleasure and pain. Because our karma is a mixture of punya and papa. There is some amount of punya and there is some amount of papa also. All of us are carrying punya and papa. And we get a mixture. Sometimes we have pleasant experiences. It is our punya. You have done some punya earlier That is why you get some pleasant experience. Often people call it luck. I am lucky, they say. What is luck? Luck is your punya. The punya is fructifying. That is luck. It is not free of cost. Nothing is free of cost. There is no free meal in this world. If you are enjoying something now, it means you have done something good earlier. We don't know when. And you are enjoying the result of that punya. If I am suffering, it means I have done something bad earlier, some papa. I don't know what papa it is. Because of that I suffer. Someone shouts at me, it means I have shouted at someone earlier, long back. I don't know when. And I am paying back. That is why when somebody asks, this gentleman is such a nice person, he has not hurt anyone, he is such a good human being, still he suffers. He is suffering. Whereas the other person, Mr. Y, he is such an evil person. He cheats everyone. He shouts at everyone. Still he is living 100 years happily. Is Ishvara biased? Ishvara is partial towards this gentleman who is doing all wrong things. Still he is enjoying. Why there is such an injustice? If there is Bhagavan, why there is such an injustice? The charge of injustice is most often put on Bhagavan. If there is a Bhagavan, he is an unjust Bhagavan. He doesn't do justice. He listens to only some people, whereas he doesn't listen to others. Why is it so? And then in Brahma Sutra, Badarayana says, Vaishamya nairghanyena sapekshatvat. Ishvara is not unjust. Vaishamya and nairghanya. Vaishamya means injustice, unjust, being biased, being partial. He favors others, he does not favor others. It is one of the charges. Vaishamya dosha. Some are happy in spite of all their wrongdoings. Some are not happy in spite of all righteousness. It is Vaishamya. Then Nairghanya. Ishvara is very cruel. Otherwise, why so many people are suffering? Nairghrinya dosha. These are the two charges that Ishvara has to face. Ishvara is very cruel. Then Badarayana defends Ishvara from these two charges. Badarayana is also like an advocate. He says, Vaishamya Nairghranye na. Ishvara does not have Vaishamya and Nairghranya because Sapekshatvat, Karma Sapekshatvat. All our sufferings are because of our karma. It is not that Ishvara is liking someone and disliking someone. It is our karmas. We have done something and we are paying back. We reap what we have sown. You get what you deserve. That is the law of karma. Nowadays it is a fashion, in India especially, to say, I don't believe in karma. But karma is the only logical explanation for all the unevenness that we see in the world. Why there is inequality in the world? How do you account for it? It is the law of karma. The law of karma is not fatalism. In fact, if you don't accept the law of karma, you end up being a fatalist. Why this is happening? Fate. But if you accept the law of karma, you don't call it fate. It is my karma. I have done something and now I am getting the result. And if I do some good thing now, I can be better hereafter. Even that is included in the karma. Karma does not make an individual lazy. Karma does not make an individual inactive. The law of karma says you do good works and you can improve yourself. Because all that we get is the result of our own karma. The law of karma is not understood properly by the modern people because they don't know what the Shastra says. Ratam pibantau means karma phalam pibantau. Pibantau means enjoying. Enjoying the results of karma. Experiencing the result of karma. Ekastatra karma phalam pibati. So pibantau. Both are drinking, both are experiencing karma phala. This is what it will mean if we see it directly. But Bhashyakara clarifies, among the Jivatma and Paramatma, only one is drinking, the other one is not drinking. He is just accompanying the other person. So you go with your friend, the other person has to drink. He cannot survive without drinking. He is an addict. And you go with him to drink. And he drank very well. And you were photographed sitting with him. So then, Ritam Pibantau. So, Ekaha Tatra Pibati. Only one of them Karma Phalam Pibati. Only one of them experiences the result of karma. Pibati is equal to Bhungte, enjoys, experiences. Na itaraha, not the other person. Tathapi, in spite of that, Patra Sambandhat, because of the association with the Patra, because of the association with the one who drinks, one who enjoys. Pibantau iti uchyate. The Shruti uses Dvivachana, Pibantau. Chhatrinyayena. And this Nyaya is called Chhatrinyaya. Two people are walking, two or even more. One of them has umbrella, Chhatram. The others don't have umbrella, but they are all going together. They are all walking together. Then one can refer to them as Chhatrinaha, people who have umbrella. Chhatrino yanti, people with umbrella are going. All of them don't have umbrella. Only one of them has umbrella. Still, Chhatrinaha is used. It is called Chhatrinyaya. The maxim of Chhatri. It is a Laukika Nyaya. An ordinary usage is explained with this kind of a Nyaya. Sukritasya Swayankritasya Karmanaha Ritam iti Purvena Sambandhaha. Sukritasya is equal to Swayamkritasya. Here Su stands for Swayam, oneself. Swayamkritasya Karmana. The karma that one has done oneself. Ritam iti Purvena Sambandhaha. Sukritasya connects with the Ritam, which is there before Ritam, before Sukritasya. Generally, the qualifying word, the adjective precedes a substantive. But here, Sukritasya, the adjective, follows the substantive in the Anvaya. That is why it has to be Purvena Sambandhaha. It should be connected with the preceding, Ritam. Why he says Purvena Sambandhaha? Otherwise, one might think it should be connected as Sukritasya Loke. The Loka of Sukrita. It is not the connection. To clarify that, Bhashyakara writes, Sukritasya Ritam Pibantau iti Anvayaha. So the Purvena Sambandhaha clarifies the Anvaya, how the Anvaya should be done. Loke अस्मिन् शरीरे. Where are they present? Jivatma and Paramatma. What is their locus? The Upanishad describes their locus. Loke. Loke means asmin sharire. In this sharira. Here, loka does not mean world. Loka means sharira. Lokyate anubhuyate iti lokaha. That which is experienced is loka. Or that in which you experience is loka. Lokyate asmin iti lokaha. Adhikarana vyutpatti is more appropriate because it is called bhoga ayatanam. The sharira is bhoga ayatanam. You have studied in Tattvabodha. Sukha dukkhadi bhoga ayatanam shariram. So, ayatanam is adhikarana. So, adhikarana vyutpatti can be done. Lokyate anubhuyate karma phalam asmin iti lokaha. So, loke is equal to asmin sharire. So, further description of the locus of Jivatma and Paramatma we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.